Hey guys, it's October 29th. Holy mother. And Julianne and I were on a Zoom for what did not feel like 2 hours. But when I got off, I'm like, okay, wow, it's like 4:35. You're for a long time. Um, and it just started. Her and I, I wouldn't call us success partners, but we have literally, if you had to label it, that's probably what you would label it. Really good friends and success partners in this business. And I think that all came about the first year we were pushing for Elite together. I remember being at my very first Diamond retreat. Julianne was there. I knew nobody at the time. And I remember you and Eric dancing on, we were on that rooftop of the Marine Center in Alpena, and they were just doing the cha-cha together. I'm like, who are these people? Her hair is so big, and I'm so jealous of the wobble. Yes. So that's when we met, but we didn't talk the whole weekend. It was, I don't know. So when we were both pushing for Elite for the first time, is when we really started collaborating and sharing ideas and sharing with each other what worked, what didn't work, what we were doing in our businesses. And since then have gotten super close. We talk pretty much every day. We Zoom I'd say at least weekly, and have just gotten a lot out of our relationship business-wise and friendship-wise over the years. So if you're a newer coach or you're a coach that kind of tends to stay in your bubble because it's comfortable, I really encourage you to branch out, send messages to people, not just that are your coaches or even coaches on your direct team, but go dig in your downline and, reach out to people who you see adding coaches to your team, who you see, maybe have one Success Club point on the board. Just send them a message and say, hey, I'm in your downline somewhere. I thought I'd send you a message. I saw you added a coach last week. Way to go. Start friendships with people, go to events, and make sure to just have awkward conversations that could turn into really good friendships. So we were talking today, and it was a long conversation and very good. And we were just like, what are you changing right now? What have you changed right now that maybe you were not doing the month before? And the question actually came out of my mouth because her and I were talking last month, and I just remember her feeling really frustrated. Like, my recruiting is not where it can be, and it's not where it typically is. And she was really frustrated. And so today I was listening to her, and she's like, I've recruited 5 new coaches so far this month. I got, what did you say? You get a $200 bonus if you sign up, or $100 bonus, 200? $200 bonus if you sign up 5 coaches within X amount of days. And she got that. And I was just like, okay, can you just stop for 1 second? Because I remember this conversation feeling very differently last month. You were in a rut, you were feeling super negative around recruiting, and you were frustrated and asking yourself what wasn't working, and you couldn't figure out why, and it didn't feel fun. And we've all been there, you guys. Working in this business from a place of frustration and a place of spinning your wheels and not getting to where you want to be only makes it harder to portray a positive, fun message when you're not feeling that way yourself. Her conversation with me today was so different, and she's having fun with it, and she is now attracting the people that she wants on her team versus maybe repelling them through her message. So it was just a really good conversation. And from that, we really dug into, what do our teams need? What are they not doing that we maybe have done in the beginning of our coaching journey to get us to where we are today? And how can we teach them without paralyzing them the things that they need to do to get out of their own heads and to get to where they want to be? And honestly, it's having conversations with other coaches, you guys, and not just trying to mimic everybody around you. I feel like I was the most stagnant in my business when I was trying to do things like every other coach in the network. I had troubles finding my voice. I had troubles feeling confident online, sharing my story. I just was paralyzed. I was so busy looking around at everybody else in the network that I was maybe jealous of, that I wanted my business to look like theirs. And I tried so hard to read their posts and tweak them a little bit and make them my own and make my pictures better and do all this stuff. And it was not fun. It was not fun at all. And I was doing the worst I had been doing since I started coaching. So Julianne, can you share time, like maybe share your experience from last month and where you were getting frustrated to the difference in the changes that you made this month with attracting a lower amount of coaches and now to a really good month?
Yeah, I think something you asked me was, did you change anything? And are you being strategic about it? And I was like, yeah, I'm being strategic about it. And I think something to know about Teresa and I think, you know, some of my coaches that are on here are probably a little bit shocked to hear that I was struggling so much. And the reason being is because, y'all, it is a fine dance. When you are frustrated, you cannot pour that energy out into the team page. You can't pour that energy out into your Instagram stories. Like, you just got to buck up and go. Like, you just got to do it. But I have to tell you what, I was flat on my face 2 months ago, just completely frustrated. And let me tell you this, that frustration wasn't leading into anything profitable. It wasn't doing anything good for me. So Teresa and Trina and Kim was there, and just say, like, y'all, I just have to get this off my chest, that this is exactly what I said. I'm so frustrated about this, but I know what to do. I said, all I need to do is just like express this, and now I'm about to move on from it. And so what I did, well, first of all, there's this quote that I heard today. I loved it. You should write it down. It's going to blow your freaking mind. It says, sooner or later, you're going to be caught being yourself. Sooner or later, you're going to be caught being yourself. Sometimes with social media and coaching and all these things is like this persona, or try to figure out my brand and try to do this stuff. But if there's anything that I've learned on this journey is I love that you get to be you and thrive being you. And the one thing that's going to make you different in this entire journey is you. And sometimes we look at these things, and this is the kind of the bottom of the point that I'm getting to, because you guys know I go somewhere and bring it right back, is we see ideas and we're like, we've got to do that. You know, oh, shoot, we should do this. And what I had told Teresa, my strategy for these last 2 months, I think it was 3 months ago, I was really struggling, is I went back to simplicity. It blows your mind, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, like, thanks for the tip. No, I'm serious. I went to starting to do year-long groups, bringing people to this community. I started separating challenge groups and coaching. And what I realized, Trina had said a quote. Trina is my mentor in this, and Teresa's mentor. And Trina Gray, if you don't know her, she's freaking awesome. And she said, Julianne, do you want to be a coach of a challenge group, or do you want to be a leader of a team? And when she said that, I was just like, dang, like, my heart in this is with the team. Like, that is the end result to me. Like, the thing that got me the best results, the thing that keeps me the most accountable, the thing that has drastically changed my life, not from when I first started, but to now when I look back, right? It was an accumulation, was a leader of a team. So what I've done simply these last 2 months is I've not made it one or the other. It's made it the goal. And so when I'm sharing my challenge group or whatever, I've gone back to 14-day, 21-day groups starting the second Monday of the month, and with themes, and doing it with other coaches. And my video on what breaks down the pricing, I say these words: the best option for you to go with, the best option that I suggest and recommend, is that you do coaching, but I try to not use coaching or business, because I think that can sound so intimidating. Something along the lines of, you should join my team, Team Happy and Fit, for the month. It's free to do it. You can cancel at any time, but I think for the ultimate accountability, my best tip is that you do this, because it's free to do it the first month. Additionally, if you want to keep going on, you get a 25% off discount, and there's a $15.95 like membership fee, website fee, however you want to say it. But your stuff, every product will still be cheaper after that. And so that is the simplicity of what I've done. Is I'm inviting for an entire month to my group. The day before my group starts, the cool thing about BOD, you guys, is that people can join in the middle of your group. It doesn't matter. Their workouts come right there. But when I first started this, you had to do it a week before and cut it off because they wouldn't get their workouts, right? And then as soon as the day of my next group starts, I'm already inviting to my next group. And this is, I don't know if we're going to get into this a little bit. Do you want me to wait and hold on what I'm about to say?
Sure. Yeah. So I think there became a disconnect. So when we both started coaching, it was you set a date for your group, you make all your graphics, and at the time we called it, like, we had a theme for every group, whether it's fall into fitness and all the posts were about fall and whatever. And then we kind of got away from that, and I feel like it's kind of coming back, but we need to do a better job of showing our new coaches how to run challenge groups. Our team has the Fit District. I don't know if, I think Julianne's team also has like a large group that they like if something similar, to put people in for 24/7 support. But I do think there is power in those smaller challenge groups, whether that leads into a bigger group or whether that's just what you do. That's like Julianne said, sooner or later, you're going to get caught finding yourself. That's what I meant before when I said, if you're trying to chase what every other coach is doing, you're going to become paralyzed. You have to do your business the way that you want to do your business. If I took everything I learned every single day and tried to apply it, I would get nothing done, because I would get an idea from this coach, I'd get an idea from this call, I'd get an idea from this call. All I was constantly trying to do is keep up with the Joneses and do the next best thing in coaching. I would be stagnant because I would just be busy doing the things and not doing the actions that it's going to take to grow my team, grow my income, grow my client base. Okay, so how do we figure out how to bridge the gap between just trying to sign up customers and realize where the income comes from? Is you've got to grow your team while continuing to grow your customer base. So the way that I described it to Julianne today, I'm like, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, probably giving the kids a bath, but it's like your challenge groups, when you get clients into your challenge groups, they're kind of like in a bathtub, right? They're in your client bathtub. You want to always continue to add warm water to that tub so that it stays warm, it stays fun, it stays, I don't know, exciting for them to be in, right? You're never going to pull the plug on that plug. You're never going to let those people that you brought in have no support. However, you've got to be doing that same thing with your team. You will not get to where you want to be in this business ever if you stop adding to your team. I can guarantee you, if today you don't add a coach until next year, you're not going to have the same team you have right now. So right now, today, if I stop recruiting to my team will not look like it does right now. Coaches will quit. People I think aren't going to quit will quit. People I think will never drop rank will drop rank. It's just not, it's not something that you can maintain. You've always got to keep filtering in new people to both of these pools to become successful, to grow your business, to be where you want to be. Like I said before, you've got to do what you want to do in this business. If that doesn't matter to you, that's okay. Then that doesn't matter. None of this matters. If you're someone who does want to grow a sustainable income, to grow a team, to grow a bigger client base, then you've got to constantly be feeding both of those funnels in order to be successful. You cannot rely on one or the other. You can go ahead and add to that if you want.
So I think something that what we were realizing is, one, I think it's so important to create duplicatable systems. And in order to do that, when I created the Struggle Detox, I realized like newer coaches don't have that community and foundation yet. And really what got me building my business was doing these month-to-month groups, right? But what I have found, and I try to think back, because I ran groups that weren't good, you guys. I didn't start off in a challenge group, so I didn't know what those looked like. It took a lot of quiet groups to get to a new place. It took a lot of trial and error to get there. But the constant in that is that I didn't give up. The constant in that is that I wasn't led by my frustration. I was guided by my ambition, right? And so what I was realizing is that I don't know if coaches realize like how this marketing plan goes. So you pour all this into your group, and back then we didn't have scheduler. So we had to show up every morning at, 6 a.m. and post our content. There was no scheduling app. And so the fact that we have that now is amazing. But what I think tends to happen is that once your group gets started, there are coaches that are pouring all their energy into this group and they're forgetting, oh my gosh, I have to go start my new group and invite to that, right? So what I suggest with that, and this is something that I was talking to Teresa about, is can you guys trust that your scheduled posts are enough and you being the best challenger is enough? And I was talking about that in our Fit Fall follow through. We have a message thread going on. I was like, you guys, you being the best challenger in there is inspiring. Yes, give yourself 5 minutes, like, comment on everyone's things you guys can do, recognition, all that kind of stuff. But pouring everything more into that group that already has scheduled posts is kind of derailing you from focusing on, I always try to build my business, right? 6 months in advance, then 4, 5, right? You go 4, I can't count. So now what I do is I always spend a month inviting. So as soon as my group starts, my number one job with that group now is to be the best freaking challenger in there. And then as that group starts, I'm already focusing on my next one. For that entire month before it starts, that day before, I'm inviting to my next group. So my Fit and Follow Through started in October. I'm inviting to my November 12th group. And it's called Be That Girl. And I just went live about it. I'm talking about it, right? And so with Be That Girl, I'm sending up follow-up emails. I'm going to invite to that group until November 11th. All of our content is getting scheduled in there by this week. We have 2 weeks to get people in there. And then once that group starts, I'm inviting to my December 10th group. And I am spending, and remember, as soon as that November 12th group starts, my number one goal in that group is to be the best challenger. And then I'm inviting to that next group. So something that I do, because people aren't always checking in, how do I keep getting people results, right? Because that is my goal as a coach, is I send out a weekly email. They always get emails from me. I will text challengers, like we'll talk back and forth. I don't always rely on Facebook Messenger to do that. So every week my challengers get a message from me because I collect their emails in the back office. You can put it into Google and schedule out emails. So I'm trusting that they get a personalized email from me being the best challenger. And then if I have their phone number, we're texting back and forth, that is enough. And I am focusing on getting new blood into my business, because new blood fuels momentum. You taking that action creates more belief. When you get more people into your groups and not just relying on what you have, Teresa nailed it, man. They're not gonna, do you know how many of my challengers are still here that I started with 4.5 years ago? They're starting to come back to me because they haven't done anything in 4 years. They're re-signing up because they've gotten so off track. They don't stick with you always. Some will, some won't. But that's why new blood is like vital. And if you are feeling like in a funk or you're feeling derailed, it took me mapping out my challenge groups. This is how simple, this is how I built my business. Like what in the actual heck, right? That's like not rocket science. And I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm excited because when I get into my business, I know exactly what I'm inviting to. I know exactly how to get people in, and I'm feeling really, really good about it.
Love it. So I just wrote down for you guys dates, the second Monday of every single month. If you want to market out your year, like every business has a marketing plan. If you don't feel bad. Just start thinking about that. I often think, and this is another conversation we had today, is if you look at coaches that are successful, sometimes it's really easy to get caught in the mindset like they've got a bigger following than me. They've been doing this longer than me. They have better picture taking abilities than me. Whatever, you get just caught up in the comparison game. But here's the thing, you guys. It's not winging it. It's strategic posting. It's strategic planning. It's strategic inviting. You've got to know what's coming up as far as launches go. You've got to know what's coming up as far as I've got this calendar right here that I have all the time. You've got to know what's coming up. I've got right here on the 19th to start promoting the 3-day refresh because I'm going to run a group with our entire team. I just haven't told you guys yet because I'm going to tell you the week of the 12th. But doing a 3-day refresh after Thanksgiving, it's stuff like that that you have to look ahead for versus on, November 23rd saying, shoot, I should have done a 3-day refresh group. Duh. All these other coaches are posting and sharing about a 3-day refresh group. And here you are, you missed the mark because you're not marketing your business. You're winging your business. You're all of a sudden frantically throwing out tons of invites this last week because you haven't been strategic throughout the entire month. So that's one thing that definitely changed the course of my business. That's one thing that they talked a ton about at leadership as well, is just being more strategic about what you're doing, knowing when all the launches are happening, knowing which ones you want to run full throttle with, and the ones that maybe you're just not going to focus on because you know it's not your jam. If you don't like Shanti, you don't like that style of workout, don't try to be the coach that likes that style of workout. Just stay true to your roots and run with the program and the marketing plan that you want to run with. If you want to do Transform 20, then do Transform 20. It comes out in January, and run with that. Julianne, I think, said she's doing a New Year, New You, and then Transform Your Life group. So think of things like that. She's already knows what she's going to call all of her groups through March. Girl, Stop Apologizing comes out in March. Are you going to be ahead of the game on doing a group with that book coming out, or are you going to be behind the mark? That's the kind of stuff we have to think about, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to take your business to that next level versus you just feeling behind and then you starting to market something that's already been done. Does that make sense? Okay, the next thing that we want to talk about, just kind of knowing, it's not that people don't do the things that they are told to do. You're posting on social media, you're doing your workouts, you're drinking your shake, but you've got to really do the important things. Like Julianne said, once your group starts, your only job in that group, besides doing your daily post, is to be the best challenger in that group, and then you are on to the next group. You are bringing in people to keep that bathtub warm, but you are also thinking of people over here that could maybe become coaches or inviting to your team right away going into that next month for your next group. Always offering the coaching opportunity at sign up gives you leverage and takes out a step, you guys. There's steps when they sign up to be a challenger and then they change their mind and want to become a coach. It's more work for them, it's more work for you. If you offer it and you're upfront and straight up about it, then they can make that decision on their own right out of the gates. And a lot of people would rather save that money and find out they could have done it in the first place.
I want to say something about that.
Yeah.
I think that, for me, when I was struggling, I have to get challengers, then I have to get coaches. And I have to tell you guys, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys, if you want to build a business off of that, which is on freaking transformation and life transformation, which is incredible, in order to do that with building a sustainable business that completes and generates residual income, that's going to be building a team. And so I saw that in the very beginning of when I started coaching, is build a team. And I remember the coach I originally signed up with, she would always get challengers, and she made money quicker than me because she made commission. And she was making all this commission, right, doing all that. And I was actually signing up coaches and was seeing less profit from that because it takes a while to build that team cycle, and I'm on a dead leg. And so, but what has built my business has been building a team. And so I think and I also love the coaching opportunity. It changed my life 100%. I think that the team is the most accountability one can get. I think that our tribe is what people need in life. You don't find a bunch of people brainstorming on how to be better at life. You don't see a group of people inspiring all roles in life. You just don't get that. You don't get people celebrating each other all the time. And that is what team means to me, right? And I just want to get to the bottom of that. And so yes, we do a coach sneak peek. once a month. It's not necessarily strategic around my challenge groups, but the sneak peek is a resource guide there for people to use always. And so it's not there to just use on November 12th, because there's still a video. Teresa, I think you run yours similarly. Megan and Chelsea, I'm not sure about you ladies, but where there's still a video in there and the reason I have the sneak peek is I can talk to someone about coaching no problem. When I first started, I heavily relied on sneak peeks. I had no idea what to say. I didn't want to, I just didn't know what to say. I would like Google, like, how do you tell someone about the coaching opportunity? I didn't know. And so that sneak peek isn't there for just November 12th. It's there for you to use today of like, I have 5 people interested in coaching. I don't know what to say to them. You get them in that group, and then that's how they get the right amount of information. But what I do is I actually don't use that sneak peek. It's so much more for the coach. For me, how I share the coaching opportunity is how you get started to work with me. I just shared the video right there with you guys. So if someone's wanting to join my challenge group, I am talking about the coaching opportunity right there. Now, be honest, is this a growth area for some of you on this call? Someone talks to you about a challenge group. Yes, I'll help you with the challenge pack you get in my challenge group, and then maybe you'll talk to them about the coaching opportunity. What if you offered it right away? And that it's not the only way they can join. You're not tricking them into joining. You are saying, this is what I suggest. This is why. You don't have to. And then there's this other option. So I always say, do you want to go, the VIP coach route? Coach sounds intimidating. I'll even say that. It's not as intimidating as it sounds, right? Or do you want to go the challenger route? And since I've been just offering it right off the bat, and I am giving you guys the video, it's nothing crazy, is they're going with that option. And I am so confident that when they join Happy and Fit, their whole life is going to transform. I know that when they post in Happy and Fit that they got 7 days of their workout done, they will have more love on that post than if they were to post that in a challenge group. Why? All of the coaches have been working on themselves. All the coaches in Happy and Fit have created this routine. In Happy and Fit, this lifestyle and culture around health and happiness is it's bigger than it is in a challenge group.
I agree. I can 110% say that when I think of my best challengers, my best clients, my most active customers, they're coaches. They're all coaches. In our fit district, who are the most consistent people in there showing up, they're coaches.
The 10th Amendment is saying.
Tanya, your line keeps unmuting. Anyways, so there's something to be said about that. So once coaches join your team, right, our residual income comes from volume. So if you were, and this is like, I feel like it's something I wish I would have known when I started my business, and now it's like totally makes sense to me. So let's say you present somebody with the opportunity to join you. They're all for it. They want to sign up as a discount coach. Okay, great. They do your first group. They get amazing results. They don't want to actively coach, but they still want to be a customer. Sometimes I feel like it's so easy to sign people up and get to a rank that you forget about the reason why we're here. It's really easy to look at Success Club like, I'm only at Success Club 2. No, it's like, who keeps liking my post that is hoping that I possibly reach out to them and invite them to join me? I think of Laurel. She joined me because she didn't get any recognition at her current job. And she's like, I constantly see you shouting out people. And I would love that. Like, I would love that. It just seems so fun. And I was like, okay, like, let's do this. She just hit diamond last week in 88 days. Whoop, whoop, Laurel. But that's it. What you share, you attract. If you're never sharing recognition and proof of the product and success stories from the people you're helping, no one's going to know that you're able to create those and to produce those kind of results. So you've got to continually share that. Anyway, so people sign up. They're VIP coaches, right? VIP, very important customers. Their volume still contributes to your residual income because they're on your team. So what if you do a team-wide 3-day refresh group? Okay, that increases everybody's volume. That gets everybody on your entire team results that you can then go and share. What if your entire team gets behind a launch? Your entire team does Transform 20 together. Everybody is getting BOD that doesn't have it. There's a lot of people on our team that don't have BOD, and it blows my freaking mind. How can you even do this without having BOD? But, which, if you don't have internet, then I take that all back and you do the DVDs and you rock it. But anyway, you all get behind it together. You guys, we're better together. We can share stories from each other. Just because they're not your PS coach doesn't mean that you can't say, hey, you killed it in this group. Can I share your transformation? Absolutely. So think about that. There's power when everybody gets behind something. And like Julianne said, if she shares a picture of a transformation in her team page of a customer that joined her just for the discount who got amazing results and lost 20 pounds, what's going to happen to that post in a team page? Maybe versus just a challenge group. The challenge group people are the ones that are rocking it, and alongside with her are going to press like, maybe give her a comment. That team is going to blow that post up. So think about that. You're doing them a favor. 1, saving them money. 2, inviting them to the best accountability. And 3, everybody's able to rally behind them then. Anything else you want to add to that?
I think just the biggest thing is when you guys see, I think blinders are so important in this journey. I think that social media in general can really mess with our mind and mess with our hearts and mess with a lot of things. And I was telling Teresa that I'm pretty good at putting blinders on, and I just kind of do my thing, stay in my course. I just want to stay true to who I am and what I represent. And I don't want to, you know, when you're like building this, you just don't want to become more insecure as you're trying to become secure, you know? And I think my biggest thing, it doesn't matter the amount of people following your account. I always say, and I heard this somewhere, where it's like, if you have 100 followers, if you were standing up in a room with 100 people, you would be so nervous to speak to them. And so we just have to be okay with where we're at, but still taking the action to grow. But if there's anything that I've seen, it's if I were to make a post about the business opportunity or challenge group, I'm not just getting people to sign up right away. I need you guys to understand this, that even in my stories, that I had a new coach sign up today, but that has been months and months and months of follow-up, months and months and months of interacting through each other's stories about life. And so anyone that has ever really joined me, there's been some kind of interaction. There's been some kind of transaction of getting to know each other, or sending out more details on a challenge and needing a place for them to invite to, right, or a place to go. And so I just want to throw that out there, that relying solely on social media isn't going to build your team if you are not asking them. And remember, you're not doing someone a favor, or no, someone's not doing you a favor, right? You are not inconveniencing someone by offering them something that could seriously transform their kitchen, transform their relationships, allow them to sleep better. It's the total solution, and you are not burdening them. And that's something that Teresa and I were talking about when she was like, so what's changed? Like, I saw you a couple months ago of like how you were feeling about this, and now it just seems so different. What is it? And I was telling her about the strategies of just creating a marketing plan that I always followed. But I said, Teresa, I'm talking about it more. I think that on social media, we're like, we've got to go to curiosity marketing. You know, we have to identify all this other stuff. We can't brand ourselves as these coaches. And what I was finding, people are like, they were confused. Like, are you like, what do you do? Like, there was no social proof there. And I think for a little short second, I was kind of, and not embarrassed, because I really love this. I don't really know how to put my finger on it. It's just more of like, I didn't want people to just like not listen to me and lose credibility. But then I thought about it. I was like, wait, no. Like, I'm proud of this, and I'm not going to brand my social media as Beachbody, but it's okay to talk about it. So I've been just talking about it more. I've just been sharing that I do have a business. I've been sharing that I do run groups and that I need them for accountability as well. I do talk about objections, how social media, yeah, I was willing to get over myself because it kept me accountable, right? But I think my biggest point with this is people will not join you if you don't ask them. And you might have to ask them 50 times. it's not a one and done kind of thing. So anytime someone gives me a no or a not yet, they go on a list and I will send them an email every month. And Tiffany, my new coach today, was that person. She just wasn't ready, and now she was today. And so I just want, you have to ask. You just have to do it. So maybe you're really good at the challenge group thing, but you're not asking about coaching, and that kind of baffles me. And not in a putting you down kind of way, but in a way of like, you guys, don't you think that this team is the ultimate goal? That like this, what we have, this culture, this tribe, this lifestyle, this business, like I didn't know how big it would get. And that's something I've been reflecting on these last few weeks. Like I had no idea how big this would get. It gets so big. And the way it gets big is you take action, and your belief is just going to keep on growing with the action that you take. You just have to do it.
I think it's super, as you were talking and you were just sharing pieces of our conversation, you guys, I think it's so important that even 4.5 years, 4 years into the business, we have the same conversations that you guys do with each other. Like we have the same struggles, we have the same frustrations, we have the same conversations, but the outcome of our conversations isn't to wallow in that. It's like, we know we're not just going to sit here in this puddle. We're going to freaking charge through. We got to figure out how to do it. We're going to do it now. That's the difference. If you're surrounding yourself with coaches that when you complain to them or are frustrated with them, they're not uplifting you and trying to help you find solutions to do better, be better, get out of that rut, then you got to find a couple new coaches to start talking to, because I can tell you it's either going to kill you in this business or it's going to raise you up. Hold on. Okay. And then the next thing, what did you say? Oh, shoot. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. Is she said, invite people 50 times. That's probably like, what? Okay. She's being sarcastic, but kind of like, you've got to follow up. You can't just say like, no is no. Okay. Moving on. But here's the thing. She's posting on social media. Okay. We are all posting on social media. We're posting on our stories. We're posting invites on our Instagram, Facebook, personal Facebook, whatever you do. If somebody that you invite says no or doesn't want to join you this month and you say, okay, can I follow up with you next month? If they say yes, are you getting their email and adding them to an email list and sending a newsletter every month? That's something as you grow, or even today, you can start doing. Does it have to be some elaborate email? No, it can just be, hey, this is the program that I'm doing this month. If you're interested, I thought I'd shoot an email. Let me know. Here's the link to join me. Boom, done. I literally threw a Hail Mary pass the day before we left for vacation because I was at SC4 and I was like, shoot, I don't know that I'm going to have internet. And thank God I sent out that email, you guys, because we did not have internet. The only time I could post is when we went to town and I could connect to this free Wi-Fi at this one restaurant. So I posted every single day, but I had to kind of do it strategically, obviously. I threw a Hail Mary pass and I sent out an email to my entire customer list and the 178 people that I've gotten to join my free meal prep list from Instagram in the last 3 months. So 171 more people that I have not worked with yet are on this list. I sent out an email. I said, hey, what are you doing? I said, are you busy on October 29th? That was the subject line. And then I just explained what Lift 4 was, explained that we were doing this group, and I included the link to join. I came back to SC10. Okay, I hadn't sent one invite while I was gone. I consistently posted, but that's the difference. You have to think, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this happen? What do I have to do in order to make it happen? Do I want to come home from vacation and just say, oh, shoot, I didn't hit Success Club this month? That is not an option for me. That's a bare minimum in my business for me. Maybe you're not there yet, but you guys can do it. Success Club is not a huge mountain to climb. It's saying, I'm helping 3 people get results in their health and fitness. I'm helping 3 people gain more friendships that are positive and bring them into a fun community. I'm helping 3 people maybe change the course of their entire life. I can't imagine if I hadn't been invited by a random girl I'd never met before on Instagram. I don't know if all of you know this, but I was invited by somebody I did not ever speak to. She invited me to do Insanity Max 30. I joined her as a challenger. Okay, I didn't have the option to sign up as a coach right away. She didn't give it to me. I didn't know. 2 weeks later, I decided I wanted to become a coach. I talked to my friend, asked her if she heard about Beachbody coaching. She's like, yeah, talk to Trina Gray. I didn't know anything about this. So I talked to Trina. I found her link to sign up as a coach on her website. I signed up to be a coach with her. And by the time Trina got back a week later from vacation, I had already had SC10, a new coach, and I'm a stay-at-home full-time working coach now that didn't have to go back to work after I had my second baby. It changes lives. If it hasn't changed yours like that yet, it will.
Okay, we got to stop. We have to stop right here because I know, well, two things. I'm going to interview you real quick. But Mary, what I do is anytime I invite someone, I try to get their email. And so if someone comments below, I think that this is key so you don't lose the follow-up. So say you did a cold invite or someone liked your post or commented and you send them a message saying, hey, thanks for the love, thanks for the follow, whatever. I have a group coming up. I'd love to do it together. I'd love to give you more information, whatever it is. They'd be like, yes, I would love more information. That's where I'm like, hey, could you send me your email when you get a quick chance? And so when they send me their email, I send them all the details through an email. But the thing with this email is that, remember, you're not burdening them. If they did not, first of all, they would be like, unsubscribe, like take me off your email list, which I've gotten before. And I survived it. I survived it. When they sent me that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it right now. That's exactly what I did. And I just kept on trucking and just kept on going. Like we create these like horrible scenarios in our head. So for me, I send them, it depends on the month, once a month. And I let them know heads up about my next group coming up. I know last month wasn't the time for you. I would love to get you in this with me. That's what I say. And I talk about the theme and what it's going to be like, right? And so they'll get for sure a monthly email. And depending on, I'll maybe do it once a week or every few weeks. So Teresa, okay, we all have questions about this. That's amazing. You're a brand new coach. You just signed up. You've never met Trina. You don't even know who she is. You signed up. First of all, I don't even know how you figured out the link issue because we didn't have share cart back then. We had to figure out how to do that. So what did you do when you first started? And like, were you just like, okay, I need to post about me starting a group? Or like, what did you initially do to get people to sign up with you?
I didn't post. I didn't have a post. I simply was doing Insanity Max 30 and I was loving it and I was drinking Shakeology even though I was like, I made her send me all the ingredients. I Googled like 3 of them, acted like I knew what the hell I was talking about and was like, sure, whatever, I'll do it. Because I was drinking a different protein shake which tasted like chalk. So anyway, I signed up and 2 weeks in, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I love this. And I was like, I would kind of like to start a group like this, just with people that I know. And so I reached out to my cousin, my other cousin, and 4 of my friends. And I just said, hey, I'm doing this program. Do you want to do it with me? It's hard as hell. I think you'd like it. We're all going to die. And they were like, sure. Sent them the link. They signed up. It was $208 for that challenge pack. Not $160, $208.
Dang. I think that's the biggest thing, you guys, is like, you build trust with your journey. Like you build trust with your journey. People can fake it and they can do that all day long. But at the end of the day, like you can't fake it for that long. And so for me, the reason I'm doing 2 21-day challenges is because I'm doing 20 shift shop for 21 days. That the next day I'm going to do another 21-day group and that'll take me into December, and I'm doing 21-day fix, not my favorite program, but it'll be a program other people like and I'll just suck it up. And then December I'm doing Sean programs to gear up for Transform 20. But what Teresa did is she picked a program, said, hey, will you do this with me? Sometimes we try to talk at people or try to present, but when you're saying, hey, I'm going here, like this is where I'm going. And it's kind of the same thing with this business. Like, hey, I started this business. I'm really excited about it. I see a lot of potential and I really trust these mentors that I have. I would love for you to do this with me. Like you coming with me. Teresa wasn't like, hey, I need 5 women to do this, whatever. She's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to die. It's going to be really hard. And I won't quit having other people I know do it with me, right? And I think we forget about that. That's kind of what I've been doing to market to Teresa. even now going back to the basics, is, hey, I'm about to do this 21-day program. I haven't done it in a while, but that's what I started with. And I would love for you to do this with me. That is a simple invite. And then they're like, give me more details. Then I send them that video. And you know what? I send them the 21-day fix promo video. I have not done that in years. And I've helped a lot of people this month. And I've sent them the promo video, be like, this is the program we're going to do together, is what I say. And then the sign up option underneath it.
I love that. So she shared how she follows up. What I've been doing is I'm not a cold inviter. I just don't have it in me. I don't, and maybe I won't get to where I want to go because I don't cold invite. I post, I'm constantly talking to people all day long, sending messages from their stories, connecting with them, bridging that gap of follower to friend. And then when I post about a group coming up, then I don't feel weird asking them or saying like, hey, you would love doing this. Or if they say like, oh, what workout are you doing at the gym? I say, hey, today I did this. I do it on Beachbody On Demand. Like, have you ever thought about joining me? That's why it's so important to share the life of a coach, what you do. It piques their interest. They ask a question. It gives you the opportunity to send that invite. It's not weird. It's not salesy. It's not a script that you send to them right after they follow you. It is genuine. What I do is I say, hey, no problem. If you want my meal prep guide, here's the link. Thanks for following me. That's my meal prep guide right there. It takes them to a MailChimp landing page, which takes like 10 minutes to make. I got the free meal prep guide from a girl on Etsy. They have to enter their email address, which goes into my email database on MailChimp. Sounds so complicated, but I promise it's not. And every person that fills that out, they get sent to a link that takes them to the meal prep guide, but I get their email. So they're then in my circle. They're then getting emails from me each month. Tricky. But I want them in my circle. I get unsubscribers every time I send an email today, or I sent one before I left for vacation to those people too. And I got like 6 unsubscribes. But I don't care. It's just someone who wanted a free meal prep guide. You know, I have the link in my profile as well on Instagram. So, and I send it to every new follower that I get on Instagram to say, hey, thanks for following me. I created a free meal prep guide for anybody that follows me. It's in my profile if you're interested. And they sound like, oh my gosh, awesome. Thank you. What do you do? It prompts them to ask questions or just say thanks and make that connection with me. So there's all sorts of different ways, and you can get on this call and you can be like, oh my gosh, where do I begin? That's not the point. The point is, what can you take away from this call tonight, tomorrow? Do one thing different in your business to get you to where you want to be. And then maybe the next week or the next month, you implement something else until you're at a place where you're like, I'm doing this so good. How can I make it better? And you just keep doing that over and over and over again. If it's not working, try something new.
Yeah, I think what I would suggest as well is make a list of dates of your next groups, pick a program and stick to it, and then just come do this with me. And once your group starts and get all that stuff scheduled, that is a beautiful gift, you guys, is the scheduler. And then trust that that's enough to run your group when you're showing up hard as a challenger in there and still showing love on people, but you're not spending so much time in that current challenge group that you just have to trust that it's enough. People seeing your journey is creating trust and accountability with them. And then you just looking to the future of like, there's never a day I'm not inviting to something. I'm not inviting to a group that has started already is in 3 weeks in. I'm inviting to my next group, and I have a space to place someone. So I pick dates, pick a program, come do this with me, and just put it out there. You guys are incredible, and you can do it.
To add on that, I think there's probably some confusion with like the year-long group thing, and then now going back to 21 days or 14 days. That's not the message at all. You've got to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Did the year-long group thing. Love the Fit District. I did the year-long group thing in the app, and it just kind of fizzled, and it wasn't like vibing like I wanted it to. So I switched it to Facebook. I let the entire team join. The entire team can add their clients. I add my clients. But what I changed this last 2 months ago was I'm doing a 21-day group with the new people that join me first, so they get the hang of things. And then I say, if you want to, you've now graduated to this larger group. It's ran basically the same way. There's more people in there, more momentum, more fun. You can be in there. Or if you want to be in another more intimate group and you stay on Shakeology, let me know. I'll send you the link to get into that group. Super easy. Whatever works for you. If you're a newer coach and you're just like, I'm using the Fit District or the year-long group that my coach provided for me till I get the groove of this whole thing, go for it. The only thing you guys have to do is just do something. You have somewhere to put people if they sign up with you. Be confident in that. And just know that you can run your business however you want to, and you can always change it from month to month if you want to.
Yeah. Jen, great question. It depends on when it started. Like if it's in the first few days of the one that just started, I'll just put them in that one. Or I add them to that next one. But since they're joining as coaches mainly, what I do is I have a challenger welcome email, and that welcome email sends them their goals and how to take measurements, how to do all that stuff to pick a program, and we just connect through email. And then I just add them and say, hey, we're starting at this time, but you can start sooner. Or if they're a coach, which they usually are, I just have them share their journey in our team page. But the thing is if, and Happy and Fit can vouch for this, is I've been showing up every day in Happy and Fit sharing my journey. So it's almost like our team page is also ran as an accountability group as well as a business page.
And I think too, like when we first started, that's all we did was Trina only runs 10-day groups. She doesn't have a year-long group anywhere. She does 10-day groups. This is her thought process behind that is, and I've shared this with my team 100 times, and they're probably gonna be like, shut up. But if, let's say you compare like what we do as coaches, accountability partners, to a financial planner. If I go into a financial planner's office and I'm like, listen, my husband's gonna kill me if I spend another dollar and I can't help it, I just like shopping, like help. If they follow me around for 14 days out of the month and they take every receipt or block my credit card from being swiped, do you think the rest of that month I'm going to be a little bit more aware of my spending, and I'm going to think of that, and it's going to be on my mind, and I'm going to keep going with those healthy habits until that next month we meet again and he does the same thing? It's the same thing as coaching. We are not babysitters, we're accountability buddies. So if you advertise that your group is starting on X date and they sign up 2 weeks before that starts, they're prepared to wait until that start date, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And what I do, put them in my year-long group, and then when that other group starts, I send them that welcome email, which I just created a really cool thing in Canva for my new challengers that I'm loving. I don't know if I can share it in here. I'll see if I can pull it up. Anything else? I know Megan had wanted to touch base too on some leadership stuff that she just came across this week and is really loving. So if you want to unmute.
Hey guys, so thanks Julianne and Teresa for everything you guys have shared, because I think that it's just so exciting to just like feel that new energy. And I've been there before where you kind of are like doubting what you're doing and questioning what you're doing. And if you guys, there's so much to take away from this call, but I just want to echo what the lady said. When you are feeling stuck and frustrated, the path is figuring it out and deciding to put one foot in front of the other and go forward. Because I don't think it matters if you've been a coach for 2 months or 2 years or 4 years. You're going to have those moments and you're going to have those months. And the only thing that is, differentiating coaches that last and are successful and are around for a while, are they make that decision to figure it out and pick themselves up and decide not to be defeated by it. So I think that's just really, really great advice. And I've been doing exactly what Julianne actually has talked about just in the last 8 weeks or so, really dumbing down and simplifying, inviting to coaching out of the gate. I'm not a massive recruiter, and I had 10 new coaches in August and 6 last month, and I think I signed 2 more today, so I'm up to 8 this month. Those are like huge, huge numbers for me because I'm normally like a 1 or 2 a month person. And all I have done is exactly what Julianne said, just saying from the get-go, you have 2 options. They cost the same amount of money, but the results that you're seeing in pictures and that you are excited by, those people are coaches and they have gone all in on themselves, whether they're actively working the business or just doing it for the discount and the accountability. I really recommend you doing option B. I've not had a single person say, oh, I don't want to do that. Like when you present it with that way and with that confidence, you give them the confidence to be like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. And I'm like kicking myself that it's taking me this long to realize to present it with that much confidence. So that do it, try it, just I think the more you do it, you'll just feel more convinced that it's not as scary. And kind of like in the same realm, I watched a call a couple days ago talking about, who do you want to be doing this business with? And I thought it was such a great way to look at building our teams, because I think we waste so much energy trying to find the right person and trying to figure out who's going to be successful and trying to like put the pieces of a puzzle together. And I love how this coach just said that she teaches her downline to write down the names of 10 people that you want to build a business with because they're fun, because they're your best friends, because they're hard workers, because you think they'll rock it, because you think they may need the money, like for whatever the reasons might be. Who are those 10 people that you want to run this business with and build a business with? And then instead of waiting for the right time to find them, get on the phone with them tomorrow. Like write your list of 10 names tonight. And a great way to approach this, if you're feeling a little bit nervous, there you go, Julianne. If you're feeling a little bit nervous, that's what your upline is for. Like I have been telling my girls today, hey, now you have the 10 names in front of you. Let's get them on the phone together. Let's get in a Facebook message thread together and like link arms with them and show them how to build a team. I think so often we try to do this all on our own when we all know that like parts of coaching can be extremely lonely, but when we come together is when it's so much more fun, it's so much less scary. And I know that if one of my best friends had, years ago said, hey, I want you to learn about this opportunity. This is why I think it's so awesome. And like really shared it with me with passion, I would have been like, okay, sounds great. I very trepidatiously got into this because I was interested, but I didn't know. And it was like this back and forth of, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? And had somebody just like grabbed my hand and been like, look, let's do this together. This is what you're looking at. This is what you can build. And I'm going to be with you every step of the way. I would have been attracted to that type of confidence. And I think that we all need to recognize that there are people in our lives that trust us and that believe in us and that will see and trust the magic and energy that we feel in these communities if we present it to them in that likeness, instead of being like, well, I don't know if you'd like to learn about coaching. I know it's kind of expensive. I know there's this membership fee. That you can't do that. You've got to make that list of who you want to go after and then go after them in a way that's exciting and that builds the type of team that you want. So you develop these amazing friendships and then you have fun and you have people to lean on and to run businesses with instead of dragging people behind you that don't really want to be there. Find the people that you want to build the business with. So I challenge all of you guys tonight to write that list of 10 names down of people that you want to build this business with, and then be actionable. So it's Monday. You have all week. I would completely push you to talk to all 10 of those people before the end of this week in a way that really represents like what you get out of this. That's all.
I love it. So good. So good. I listened to a Bob Heilig podcast 2 times today because I was like, this is so freaking good. And he talks about like why people are nervous to join MLMs, and it's because some MLMs and some companies just really push that like scripted junk that we all get in our inbox, right? And that's what kind of probably scares us a little bit from reaching out and inviting or even following up. But if you just say, come do this with me, show them what you're doing every day so they believe you and trust you, they will join you if you ask, if you've built that trust and if they're ready. So good. I just resent the little Canva thing I created and send in my welcome emails. You guys, as soon as you get systems in place, it makes like the process so much easier. It took me a long time to actually like find systems that I liked. So for me, when people sign up, you get their email. It's in your Coach Online office. So what I do when I invite people to a group, I send them an email with this attached to the bottom with a quick 5-point checklist that says, hey, I'm super excited you're joining me. Here's your homework. Number 1, join the group here. I insert the link. Number 2, what do I say? Number 2, I say, introduce yourself with a picture. Once you're in the group, you'll see a post at the top of the page. Introduce yourself in the comments. Tell us one fun thing about you and what program you're doing. 3, read the PDF attached. I've included some tips for you to check out before we start. 4, have you downloaded Beachbody On Demand yet? And I include the link so they can just click it and download. There's an app in the App Store for streaming on your phone. You can also pull it up on other devices. Number 5, have fun. This is not something I want you to look at as changing your entire lifestyle in one day, 1 week, or 1 month. Slow and steady, move at your own pace, but the most important thing is that you're here. Let's do this. Any burning questions? Feel free to shoot me a text. I include my cell phone number. See you in the group. I attach that PDF. Super easy. They ask to be in the group. I accept them. We get going. So easy. When we first started, we couldn't even schedule posts in Facebook. We didn't have the app. It was a pain in the butt. I remember setting my alarm at like 4:30 in the morning to put up a post and then rolling back over and going to bed. It was horrible. So we're super lucky. And also, like, think about telephones, book salesmen back in the day. They like go around and knock on doors to get sales. We are so blessed with having the entire internet at our fingertips. We just have to use it wisely. So anyway, does anyone have any other questions? I know we've been on a little bit over an hour. I apologize, but yes, encyclopedia salespeople. Love it. So much good stuff. I just hope you get off this call feeling inspired, motivated, and confident, you guys. You should be confident in what we do. Super, super cool.
It's easy to invite to something when it changes your life, but you have to remember, how do you make it less intimidating to someone who's starting? And then you have a need, or someone has a need that you get to serve. And what is that need? And I keep thinking about, we were talking today, Teresa, about how many women hate the way that they look. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking that we get to serve that need for women, is like help them feel better and feel more confident and sleep better, and just like breathe life into them, and not just for them to be so exhausted all the time. And we're all a work in progress. And for you, sharing your vulnerability means sharing your reel, not your highlight reel. So you're not always going to feel motivated. I keep talking about that. I don't always feel motivated, but I have want power, not willpower, right? And I have a tribe of people that I want to show up for because they breathe so much life into me. Real fast, before we get off, can you guys share a word or a takeaway that you're going to take? Take one thing from this call, not 10, not 5, just one thing you can implement today. You will feel less overwhelmed and more pumped because you took the action. And that takes discipline, because there's a lot of really great ideas. Dream team list. Yep, Laurel, congratulations on Diamond Girlfriend. That's amazing. I've been in this for 4.5 years and I work from a list. I don't wing this business. I also work from a tracker. I don't wing this business. I'm not always perfect at it, but I try at it. So I have want power, not willpower. Yep. Be you. Yeah, this is the best you could do. Have a plan, write it down. Thanks for all this value you guys are putting on here. Invite to do with you. Yes. And just ask. Just, you guys, the answer is always no if you don't ask, and people won't join you if you don't ask. It's not a thing. Teresa got asked to be in a challenge group. She signed up as a coach on her own, but you have to understand how she was introduced in this. She was asked from a cold invite. Mm-hmm. So I know it's kind of like, before we end, there's this person presenting and she said, I wish I could be a hat person. I'm just not a hat person. And guess what? Because she was saying she wasn't a hat person, guess what? She wasn't a hat person. So one day she decided to be a hat person, and what did she freaking do? She put on a hat. So I think sometimes we identify, I'm not a cold inviter. I'm not a cold inviter. I'm just not a cold inviter. Yeah, because it's freaking uncomfortable. Tiffany, the coach who signed up today, was a cold invite. It turned into a warm conversation, but she was a cold invite. So I'm not comfortable with those either. But I think if we identify as, I'm not a business builder, I'm only a part-time hustler, like that's what you're going to be. But if you're like, you know what, maybe there's more. Maybe there's more in me. So if you're not a hat person, all you have to do is put on a hat, and then guess what? You're a hat person. You just have to be willing to do it.
And speaking of hats, then we're done, I promise. But I told Julianne this today, and when you just said that, I'm like, oh, I forgot to share my hat analogy. We were just on vacation in the islands, and the sailor of our boat said, you know what I love about this island? It's that if you were to hand out a hat to every single person on this island, not one person would wear it the same way. And I thought about that with coaching. We all try to do this business the same way, and it doesn't work the same way for every coach. You've got to wear your hat the way you want to wear your hat. Sideways, backwards, upside down, it doesn't matter. But if what you're trying to do is like somebody else and it's just not working and you're frustrated, do it differently.
Yeah. And you guys have so much potential. And there's no limit. There's no scarcity to this. The only scarcity that breeds in this is our mindset about it. And the more we think about the scarcity, the more that becomes real in our life. But the more action you take, but the more belief that creates, but not disappearing from a community that can breathe life into you. And that's typically what people choose to do. And so your challengers who have gotten off track, it's because something happened and they just wanted to retrieve as a defense mechanism, right? As a protection. But you guys, there's no scarcity to this. Success isn't above you. There's more than enough room, and people need health and wellness forever, but they also need accountability, support, love, caring, right? They need people to cheer them on. People need that. That's so attractive. And that just attracts people to you is when you're being you. So you all are incredible. Thanks for hopping on. I love seeing all your takeaways. Megan, you're incredible. You just are so awesome. I love to hear that you went from 1 coach to 10 to 8. Like that just shows all because you changed one minor thing. One minor thing.
Awesome. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks for hanging on over an hour. We never do that, but it just felt too good. Hope you guys have a good night. Talk to you later.